First of all, we appreciate the fact that the TRAI now seems to be looking at various options. Ideally, these should have been part and parcel of the discussions with the industry before this was actually implemented.
Right.
So now that it is before the Supreme Court, I think we must allow the Supreme Court to go through its machinations, if you will, and its review of the arguments. There are three principal prayers which we have made. This particular offer, if you will, if one can call it that, only deals with one particular aspect of the reimbursement to the end user, right? There are other prayers in terms of jurisdiction, the ability to actually levy this type of a penalty on us, and the technical reasons as to whether we should in the first place be held liable at all. And and what are the categories, if at all there are those limited categories where you can say, this is definitely the responsibility of the operator. So I think this is at 35,000 feet, we need to come down to 5,000 feet and talk about what is actually before the Supreme Court.
Fair enough, I understand that, sir. You're waiting for a clarity from Supreme Court. Having said that, if you look at it, free minutes or offering free minutes to consumers is definitely better than a financial hit that is there on account of, 1 rupee per call subject to 3 calls a day. So in that sense, isn't this something that should be more palatable to the industry?
Clearly, this is something that the industry will take a look at if it is put forward as a proposal, right? Clearly, we are not going to be able to just walk away if the Honorable Supreme Court in its wisdom says that this is something to be considered. Then obviously we will be in a situation to consider that. Yes, the question in terms of, free minutes versus a cash outlet clearly is something that is perhaps on the face of it preferable, but please understand that even free minutes does have costs in terms of being able to implement, track it, and actually give it, and then be open to all kinds of pushback from the customer as to, what is it, what isn't it. So there's an overarching sense of the cost involved to make this happen, and this is also part of our consideration.
I was coming to that, sir. Any back of the envelope calculations as to if free minutes were to be offered, just the top 3 telcos, by virtue of having more customers, the number of minutes of usage will of course be more on their networks. Any back of the envelope calculation as to what could be the cost attached to giving free minutes instead of giving a financial reimbursement?
But here, we haven't done any of those calculations, but here's the fundamental problem that we have. If you are experiencing call drops in a particular area, how does it make sense to continue to give you free minutes in the area where you've experienced the call drops? Right? If you take that problem and say, I'm going to go and enjoy the free minutes in another part of the network, it just does not exactly. So I think there's a fundamental flaw in the proposal itself. I didn't want to get into it. Obviously, it's sub judice, but I think that's where the fundamental flaw. If you have call drops in Luton's, it's going to continue to be there until we solve the problem in Luton's, Delhi.
My last question to you, sir. Is the industry open to an out-of-court settlement with the government, probably reach a middle ground between what the industry stand is, which is that they cannot be held liable for call drop, and what the TRAI stand is that industry needs to be held accountable? Is there a middle ground, and is the industry willing to have an out-of-court settlement?
Yeah, without prejudice to our situation, we've always indicated that, look, we are not the type of people that believe that this is the only way. When we are pushed against the wall, all right, then obviously we have to protect our commercial rights in front of the appropriate jurisdiction. There's clearly been a situation before in 2001 when the Honorable Prime Minister then took a very bold stand to go to revenue share, and we settled a lot of the outstanding litigation in the context of an overall settlement. So clearly there's been precedence there. So again, if the appropriate issues are brought and there's appropriate context, we'll always be willing. Our intention is never to be adversarial with the government. We have a common interest. Take care of the customer, take care of the country, take care of the industry. The same things that the TRAI is responsible for.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.